Allah. This is the Wednesday night law class. If anybody got any questions, type them in at any point of the class. Until then, we're going to move on. Is there any questions in the class? Abaya?
I have a question, sir. Exodus chapter 24 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 24 and verse 10. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven and its clearness.
Mm-hmm. You at Exodus
24 and 10, sir.
All right, cool. Now, what was your question about it?
Just a general breakdown on when they saw the God of Israel.
Okay. Read. Go up to. Okay. All right, start at 10. You can start at 10.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 24, and verse 10. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone.
It was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone. What is a sapphire stone? Somebody look it up. And who got a Bible Compact Dictionary? You got one? You can look it up in there. Y'all get it? If you can't find it in the Bible dictionary, then you could just read it, whatever definition you got on.
Sapphire. Sapphire. This is Designer Band Compact Bible Dictionary, page 366, under minerals. Sapphire. Sapphires, like rubies, belong to the corundum or the aluminum oxide family, with an hardness next to a diamond.
So sapphire is like a ruby. The color of it is like a dark blue. I would say. The color of a sapphire stone is like a dark blue. So read that again.
Okay. And they saw the God of Israel.
When they saw the Most High, read.
And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone.
Now, a paved work, what is that? Of sapphire stone. Remember, they saw under his feet, as it were, a paved work. A paved work. What is a paved work of sapphire stone under his feet? Yeah, a sapphire stone is like a blue, it's like a dark blue color. Yeah, it's like a blue color. Yeah, Gina?
Yeah. Like when it says paved work, would that be like the ground, like on how ground is paved, or like the ground be like under the Most High's feet? Would it be like a sapphire stone? That was what they saw.
Yeah, so it's like a paved work, meaning under his feet, looked like it was like a sidewalk, but it was sapphire stone. That's what the sidewalk looked like, sapphire stone. So under his feet, the floor looked like it was made out of sapphire stone. That's what it looked like. So read.
Come. And as it were the body of heaven and his clearness.
As it were the body of heaven in his clearness, meaning what?
So when they looked up into heaven, like the sky itself is like that paved work of sapphire stone, and that's what it looked like.
Right, as they seen the body of heaven, meaning the body of heaven would be like the whole heaven in its clearness when he looked up and seen the Most High. When he looked up and seen the Most High under his feet was like sapphire stone. It was like it was a paved work of sapphire stone. It's like they seen the heavens in its clearness. Because of course the sapphire stone is like a crystal, is like a ruby, but it's more so like a crystal, which means it's clear. It's like dark blue. It's like a dark blue color, but they seen it like the heavens clear as day as they seen the Most High. Well, was that it?
Come.
Okay, that was the end of that verse. And Most High Christ. So basically, they just when they looked up and seen the Most High, they describing what they saw. That's what it looked like when they looked up to the heavens. You know, so. All right. So, any more questions? Questions online? What about you? Any more questions about it?
Lots.
All right, cool. We're gonna get into it, man. So today's topic will be really like separation, I would say, because as of the stuff we got going on in today's time is like the Lord is showing you day by day why He wants you to separate with these people, and the more and more you fight to, be joined with these people, join hand in hand with these people, there's always new ways that come out that make people step back and say, God damn, well, that's a little crazy. So, and everybody know us in the truth, that's one thing we teach is separate. Don't join unto the nations. Don't be a part of this society. Don't follow after the other nations' customs. All that is just us telling you to separate. It's all the same thing. Don't follow after their customs. Don't join a society. Don't follow after their laws. Don't try to be like them. Separate. Separate as in what? Be with your own. Be with your own and keep your own customs and traditions and your laws. Because everyone on the face of this earth is doing that except for one people. And that's the Most High chosen people. It seems like we fight tooth and nail day and night to try to come up with reasons why we should separate. I just recently seen a video by Cat Williams. Cat Williams, he went to speak on about how he felt as though white people was now scared or becoming scared because of all the riots in the streets and how black people was acting. So he say, I know y'all scared, you know what, but we better than that. We better than that. We fighting something that's bigger than that. Y'all more than welcome to join us if you want. Like that's what he said in his speech. And as I watched it, I sat there and said, how can you go into all the things that we're dealing with as a nation and we dealing with as a people, and as you naming these things, you're acknowledging we are doing this and acting this way because of white people. And then you turn around and still say, you can join us in this fight if you want. So for some reason, entertainers or even leaders, they like to put out this notion of this fight we're fighting is against the bad white people. But the good white people are more than welcome to join us. When it's just like, why? It's nowhere in history where it has been proven when so-called oppressors or so-called white people, the oppressors, join us, we're ended well. We're ended well. Even the movements we got, the Black Lives Matter movement and all that, and hands up, don't shoot. They look at it because it's white people in those movements as if it is some good white people out there. When those people, like for the Black Lives Matter movement, is ran by homosexuals, lesbians and all that, right? So they look at it like because it's white lesbians in it, that it is some white people out there. When they're more concerned and more focused on pushing being a lesbian versus Black lives actually matter. Like they promote their alternative lifestyle more than Black Lives Matter. Every time you see them, they gotta let you know that they gay. Even if they wanna start associating the flag with Black Lives Matter. When I was out Atlanta, damn near every Black Lives Matter flag I seen was in rainbow. And it'd be an Edomite. Got a big ass flag on his porch, but it's rainbow. And they're more so focused on spreading that because in their mind they want you to feel as though that's important too. And then it makes black people feel like, well, damn, the gays are the only ones standing up for us, so they start to be more accepted more. Like especially on my ride to the school, I was listening to this song. It was a song by this lesbian sister, and her song was dedicated to a straight sister who had a man, but she didn't care because she wanted her that bad. She was dedicating everything to take that sister away from her man. That's all the song was about. And they're gonna push that on the radio like it's nothing. They're gonna push that on the radio. What we've been saying for a long time, man, them homosexuals, they got to push being a homosexual on everybody. It's almost a must. To the point where if you disagree with it, then you secretly in the closet. That's why you don't like it. You can't say you don't like homosexuality because if you do, you only saying that because you secretly a homosexual and you ain't comfortable with your sexuality. Being comfortable with your sexuality, what does that have to do when the people who is like, I know a lot of sisters who had lesbian friends and they all got a story about how they got so drunk and their lesbian friend tried to have sex with them. Like, that's just the normal. That's the type of things they push on us. This is why we got to separate. This is why we shouldn't be a part of their society, because now we're doing things that is not even in our nature. Like a sister on the radio singing like she's a dude. She's singing from the point of view of a male, saying, baby, I don't care if you got a man, and dedicating everything she needs to try to take her away from this man. So her whole mission was to turn this girl gay. That was her whole mission, was to turn this girl a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. Well, Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. Mm-hmm. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men working with men that which is unseemingly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error which was meet.
Look, man, like, what more do you need to say? Like, even the Most High is letting you know, man. Like, they doing that which is against nature. Women, lying with women, working with women, men doing things with men that's unseemly. It's just, and all that's not our culture. It's not our culture. How you know it ain't our culture? Because at one point you would die for that. You would die for being that way at one point. No other culture will kill you for being a homosexual. No other culture. They say the Muslims do it. Muslims don't do it. They homosexuals as well. See, and that's what happened when we join unto these other nations, man. We put ourselves in positions that when we following after them, the Lord continue to open up and show us ways why we shouldn't be following after them. So whereas though you're not safe nowhere. Give me in the book of Psalms where it say the angels of the Lord encampeth around those who fear him. Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 34 and verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him.
The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him. So, the person that fears the Most High, he got angels all around him. And they encampeth, meaning what? They are camping out around him. They're living around him. Read on.
And delivereth them.
And delivereth them. Read.
Verse 8. O taste and see that the Lord is good.
Read that verse. Read that verse again.
Okay. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them.
Right. You got a bunch of angels that's resting around you. Bunch of angels that's just, they setting up around you. Why? Because they protecting you. And they're going to deliver you on any evil that come your way. The angels of the Most High is all around you protecting you. No evil is going to be able to stop you. And I say that to say this, because you're not safe out here. You're not safe out here. Not in your own damn house. You're not safe with dealing with the police. You're not safe with, the hospital. You're not even safe at the goddamn hospital. Yediah, when you get a chance, pull that story up for me.
CNN Health. Black newborns 3 times more likely to die when looked after by white doctors.
Read that again.
Black newborns 3 times more likely to die when looked after by white doctors.
Black newborns are 3 times more likely to die when looked at after white doctors. Who would have ever thought that? You give birth, or you come to the hospital with a newborn baby that's sick. They are telling you, and this is a report from CNN, that if your black baby is being looked at by a white doctor, it's 3 times likely, this baby gonna die. 3 times likely. Which is crazy. They basically telling you need a black doctor to look after a black baby. Because if it's a white doctor, it's 3 times more likely to die when they being looked at after it to care for it. Let's read a little bit of it.
Black newborn babies in the United States are more likely to survive childbirth if they are cared for by black doctors. But 3 times more likely to die when looked after by a white doctor, a study has found. The mortality rate of black newborns shrunk between 39 and 58% when black physicians took charge of the birth. According to research which laid bare how shocking racial disparities in human health can affect even the first hours of a person's life. The findings support previous research which has shown that while infant mortality rates have fallen in recent decades, black children remain more significant, more likely to die earlier than their white counterparts.
Not only that, what they're starting to find out, which makes it so odd, because not only if it's a black baby being looked at after a white doctor, the black baby is 3 times more likely to die. Then when they compare white doctors looking at the white babies, they're saying the white babies are 3 times more likely to live. And they trying to understand why. And they're going to try so hard not to make it a race thing, but we all know what it is. Read on.
Researchers from George Mason University analyzed data capturing 1.8 million hospital births in Florida between 1992 and 2015 for the new study, which was published Monday in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, also known as the PNAS. When cared for by white physicians, black newborns were about 3 times more likely to die in the hospital than white newborns, the researchers found. Strikingly, these effects appear to manifest more strongly in more complicated cases when hospitals deliver more black newborns, the author wrote.
So the author, like, look, these tests, this, what I'm telling you became more strong to believe when we had hospitals that start to produce a whole lot of black babies. So certain hospitals that start to deliver a whole lot of black babies, we start to see the black babies that were dying, most of them were cared after a white physician. Read on.
The authors did not speculate about the reasons behind the trend, but wrote, taken with this work, it gives warrant for hospitals and other care organizations to invest efforts into reduce such bias and explore their connection to to institutional racism. Reducing racial disparities in newborns' mortality will also require raising awareness among physicians, nurses, and hospital administrators about the prevalence of the racial and ethnic disparities, the researchers added. It's already known that black infants have a 2.3 times the infant mortality rate as white infants, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health. And a report from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which covered the period from 2000 to 2017, was published in June that black infants still have more than twice the risk of dying as white patients.
And why is that?
White infants.
Now, which shows how evil they are, because when it says the black babies is not being cared for, what do they mean by that? What is something that we always talk about and we understand? That when these black babies is being born, they're not being looked at after as much as they supposed to, and they're not being taken care of, like they supposed to. Why is that? What are these, what is wrong with these babies that they're dying in the hospital? Because, of course, this can't be a healthy baby, Because a healthy baby in a hospital is really not dying from no complications. So what is it about these babies? Because in this article, right? So, can you give me some more time with him? Yeah. So, what is it about these babies that's, because it's letting you know at the rate they was dying, it started to raise an alarm. Now, as they started to figure out why is all these black babies dying 3 times more likely than white babies and being cared at the white physicians. They started to investigate and came up with this. Why is that? And if anybody know, they could type it in. What is it about these black babies that they dying so much? Do it go into what they're dying from anywhere in the article?
Nah, that was at the end of the article.
That was in, all right, so that's perfect. So what are they dying from? Because listen, black babies have a higher chance to be born with high blood pressure, diabetes, all type of disease. So when these babies coming out with these illnesses and these babies coming out, they need this extra attention and they need to be looked after because of these illnesses they dealing with. You're 3 times more likely to die being a black baby, healthy, or dealing with some type of health issues. You're 3 times more likely to die because they're in that hospital not doing what they supposed to. They're not taking care of you how they supposed to. They're not giving you the proper treatments, or they slacking on the treatments. They ain't giving you your medicine on time when they supposed to. You know, it's a bunch of stuff that they in that hospital not doing. And these babies is dying and they trying to figure out why. Which is spiritual, man. Whether they want to make a sister feel like, I know you pregnant, but you know, they following out the order that the oppressor set forth, or the plan that the oppressor put together to destroy us. They following it out and not even understanding why they doing it, because it's spiritual. Oppressor set up abortions to get rid of us, to try to, you know, get rid of the black population. And then you got some silly Negroes as of today pushing the agenda of, girl, you got to finish school. How you going to finish school with that baby? That baby going to slow you down. How you going to take care of that baby? You can't take care of no baby right now. Convincing these sisters to go get abortions. I remember this one sister told me she was fighting to get an abortion. But then another side of her made her feel like it was wrong. So what she did was went to her pastor, asked her pastor, listen, I want to abort this baby, but I don't know what to do. I want to abort it, but it's a part of me telling me I shouldn't. And the pastor told her, go home and pray and do whatever God tells you to do. That was his answer. To this day, that sister says she regret getting the abortion. Man, when she got the abortion, he made her feel like God told her to get the abortion. He told her go home and pray and whatever God tell you to do. But what's one thing he understood? He understood that telling her that, she's going to go home and do what the hell she want. She want to get rid of the baby, but it's something in her telling her not. Because there's something in her telling her she shouldn't, it's what's making her go ask him for his opinion. Just for him to leave her back with the weight of dealing with making a decision. So he know that she wants to get the abortion for a fact. What's stopping her is that little voice in her head. So you know what she's gonna go home and do? Oh, that little voice is just, I'm tripping, I'm crazy, I'm gonna go and get it. He know that. You had your hand up your diet?
Yeah, I'm saying what you bring out was so heavy. I went over this version is that when they came to when Isaiah was bringing out, I believe in the 30th chapter, where they said they went to the series of the prophets and said, prophesy not unto us right things, but smooth things. Now don't prophesy the good things, like with that pastor saying, he knows that abortion is murder. And you go into him because you like, well, the pastor gonna know what to do, he gonna know what to say. But then the pastor saying, well, prophesy that evil, smooth thing. Well, just go home and pray and let God deal with it. Let God tell you what to do. Meanwhile, you going home and you battling with that demon, and that demon, when you succumb to it, you're going to have that abortion. And then when you go see the pastor again, the pastor is telling you, well, God didn't want you to have that baby. That's just evil as hell, so it's like.
Right. Now, what you're saying is so right? And it's so heavy because in a sense of, everybody is going to do what they want to do. But they still try to lean on to a pastor for the right decision. Like for that split second, they want to do the right thing. So it's like, okay, I want to get this abortion, right? But it's something in me that's telling me that it's wrong. I'm gonna go to my pastor and ask my pastor, what should I do? Whatever answer my pastor give me is what I'm gonna go off of. Now, what's one thing they know that pastor gonna do? The pastor is going to lean towards what he know you want to do. He know you coming to him asking him because you want to get the abortion. You just fighting with that voice in your head that's telling you not to. He got the power to say, well, listen to the voice. Don't get it. And you know what? It's going to make things so much easier for you. But you know what's going to make things the easiest? When he say, no, don't listen to that voice. Go ahead and get that abortion. That's Satan telling you not to get that abortion. You got a whole life ahead of you. That's Satan. Don't listen to Satan. Why? Now, he didn't earn that person loyalty because deep down inside, that person wants to get an abortion so bad. But that 2% that's disagreeing is what's making them go to him. And he know, oh, she really wants to get the abortion. I'm going to tell her what she want to hear. What do she want to hear? Get the abortion. Because if I tell her don't get the abortion, she's going to struggle more and fight against more. And then now she's going to get the abortion and I'm never going to see her again. Because she's going to hide from me because she didn't listen to me. So you know what? I'm going to tell her get that abortion. She's going to double up on them ties next time I see her. Watch. She's definitely going to look out. You know, they doing everything for personal gain, which is why we should separate from these churches, man. We should separate from this society. Should separate from the other nations. We should separate from these religions. Because everything, you know, that we dealing with as of today, none of it is safe.
Right.
You can't even deliver a baby. You can't even have a baby and then, you know, they go to take your baby to clean it off and, you know, do what they need to do and come back. You know, you got to worry about them taking your baby in the back to clean it off and worry about them coming back out telling you, oh, some complications went wrong and the baby dead now. Like, that's what you got to worry about when you outside of this school. You got to worry about delivering a baby and hearing and praying that a doctor don't come back in that room telling you your baby dead a few days later because they wasn't doing what the hell they were supposed to. Had your hand up?
Precept about our baby being 3 times more likely to die.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
That's perfect. Read that again.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Curse shall be the fruit of thy body. Curse going to be your kids, man. Curse is going to be your kids. How's your kids cursed? Your kids is going to be, likely to die 3 times more than white babies. 3 times more. That's a goddamn curse. That's a curse to know that you're going in the hospital, being taken care of by white doctors, knowing the chances of your baby dying just went up 3 times. That's a goddamn curse to deal with that. To even deal with the thought. That makes people not even want to have kids. Make people not even want to have kids. And I heard people all the time say, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to raise them up in this society. I don't want to raise them up in this world. Like, black people self-consciously know or spiritually be talking and saying things and not even realize what they're saying. Like, damn, I don't want to have a baby and you don't got to raise it up in this world, in this crazy world. Like, they know, damn, if I have a baby and it's a black boy, he might get shot by the police when he get older for doing nothing. If I have a black daughter, they might turn her out, make her be a hub, choke her the hell out somewhere by the police or something. Or they might not even make it out the hospital. I'm gonna have a black baby that might not even make it out the hospital now. So not only you gotta worry about your goddamn baby growing up to an adult and dying at the hands of the police or at the hands of another nation because he want to go take a jog or something and then some white man follow him, you know, you got to worry about having a baby. And the first thing you got to worry about as your baby a few hours old is if your baby going to make it out of this goddamn hospital alive, because them doctors down there not going to give a damn about my baby. My baby going to be starving, crying, coughing, bleeding, and they just going to take their time to get to it because they're going to attend to the white babies first. That's a goddamn curse. Read that one more time.
Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Curse shall be the fruit of thy body. Is that it?
There's a little bit more to the verse, sir.
Go ahead, read it.
And the fruit of thy land.
And the fruit of thy land. Talking about, you know, the food. Curse gonna be your children, and curse gonna be the food. All right, where we was at? Okay, that was it on that. Get me. Matter of fact, I'm about to send you something, you dog. I want you to read this because this is a result. Hold on. Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. Yeah, I'm actually in class teaching. I'm gonna text you. All right, shalom, Lord Christ. All right, did you get it?
Was this supposed to be an article or something?
Yeah, but you can read what I sent you, because that's what I copied from the article.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, that's what I copied from the article when you sent it.
Come on.
The golden age of black entrepreneurship between 1900 and 1930, the nadir of race relations was reached in the early 20th century. In terms of political and legal rights, blacks were increasingly segregated. However, the more they were cut off from the larger white community, the more black entrepreneurs succeeded in establishing flourishing businesses that catered to a black clientele.
See, at one point, you know, we was cut off by so-called oppressors, so-called white people, right? And the more they cut us off, the more we flourish in our own businesses. The more we start opening our own businesses, the more we start, you know, helping each other out. We actually, as a nation, started to, you know, succeed more when they cut us off. Why? Because we always felt as though we didn't need them. Blacks as a whole always felt as though we didn't need the other nations. What started to happen was leaders, Christian leaders, and just the, you know, politics and your political leaders and your politicians started to come together and definitely link up with these Christian preachers and started to push the doctrine of we shouldn't want to be separated. We shouldn't want to be separated. But in the beginning, they would cut us off, and we didn't go and fight from the, what was it, from 1900s to 1923, I say?
Yeah, 1900 to 1930.
1900 to 1930, when they cut us off, we didn't fight to go be back and, you know, be a part of them. When they cut us off and pushed us into our own neighborhood, we wasn't protesting and rioting to, you know, and getting beat to go and eat in their restaurants and live in their neighborhoods. But what it say? As they cut us off, what?
The more they would cut off from the larger white community, the more black entrepreneurs succeeded in establishing flourishing businesses that catered to a black clientele.
So these businesses that they came up with catered to a black clientele. Business was booming. Business was booming. Everything. Go ahead.
And you know what's so heavy about that, sir? When you think about it, if you look at like our people during this time, we're just coming off of slavery, and we are being cut off. We are just getting out of slavery, you know, the physical slavery. We really don't have nothing. So now, since we're segregated and whites don't want to work with us because we were their property, here's the thing. In their mind, they think, oh, we're not going to make it, we're not going to survive. But the complete opposite happened. Like if you look at like Tulsa, Oklahoma, on how powerful Black Wall Street was, and that didn't just encompass Black Wall Street. You know, during that time of Tulsa, Oklahoma, blacks and so-called Native Americans, First Nation men and women, we worked together. And then you had two people who were destroyed by what the oppressor did by coming over here and taking our Native Indian brothers' land and us coming out of slavery. The last thing they thought by them cutting us off that we were going to survive, but to show that we are the special people that Deuteronomy 7:6 says, shortly after what? 30, 40 years after slavery, the Emancipation and Proclamation, now we have our own booming businesses, our own economy, and our own clientele that gets circling amongst ourselves, and we are growing greater than the oppressor. So just think, for those wicked Negroes in the world that want to join us in the oppressor, just think how frightened they were that we had a better start than they did, and we were getting to catch up, and they had, at that time, a 200-year head start.
Yup.
So, go ahead, sir.
No, what you were saying is so true. They had a 200-year head start, and what them dummies didn't realize is that even them having us in slavery, they had us building and making everything.
Right.
So what the hell you think we gonna do when you cut us off and force us to be amongst each other?
Right.
Oh damn, you learn how to carpentry, right? Oh, you an electrician? God damn, that's what's up. Oh, this brother know how to do cement work. Yo, this brother right here, he real good with building stuff. Oh, this sister right here can do hair real good. Oh, this brother, he was taking care of them when he was under them. He come from a family of doctors. Oh, bet, let's get it. Next thing you know, their neighborhood is booming, it's flourishing.
Right.
Everything. And the clientele is like, yo, I'm going to him because he was a chef. He comes from a family of chefs. His great grandma, they kept her in the kitchen to cook for massa. And she taught her kids everything, and they taught their kids everything. I know that restaurant right there got some good ass food. You know what? That's where I'm eating. Okay, my baby's sick. Well, this person was set up to learn about how to be a doctor. We going there. The businesses was flourishing in that time. They cut us off. We didn't give a damn. We had everything we needed. Bank tellers, doctors, everything. Read on.
Come. By 1920, there were tens of thousands of black businesses. The great majority of them quite small. The largest were insurance companies. The league had grown so large that it supported numerous offshoots, including the National Negro Bankers Association, the National Negro Press Association, the National Association of Negro Funeral Directors, the National Negro Bar Association, the National Association of Negro Insurance Men, the National Negro Retail Merchants Association, and the National Association of Real Negroes. Cut off by that. Yes. Of the National Association of Negro Real Estate Dealers.
And that's it, right? So it started to give a long list as based off of that one business we had, a lot of other businesses was able to branch off from it because of the amount of money we was bringing in. To that business, they was able to open up other businesses for other black people. Funeral directors, markets, insurance companies, banks, all of that, hospitals. When they was having kids back then, them babies, they didn't have to worry about their babies dying at a 3-time higher rate. But now we do, because that's the result of wanting to join together with your oppressor. Back then, they fresh off of slavery, you know, been through it, grandparents been through it, great-grandparents been through it. Here they go, they fresh off of slavery, still being cut off, come together, the last thing they worried about is, you know, joining with the same people who had them in slavery, whipping their backs and killing them, not even paying them. That's the last thing. But what started to happen, they started to see how we was flourishing, started to get angry, started to get jealous. We was making more money than them. You know how black people is. We driving around in better cars, rims and all that, golds in their mouth, chains on. They walking around with chains on, you know, big fur coats, flashy as ever, which is funny to me, right? Because when I be seeing pictures, I see this all the time on the internet. They will have a picture of a so-called oppressor, like Bill Gates. They will have a picture of Bill Gates getting out of the car. He got on some Wrangler jeans, a plain belt, and a t-shirt. And they say, see, he's a billionaire, and he still won't dress flashy. Mark Zuckerberg, plain t-shirt, $5 t-shirt, $5 belt, $20 jeans on. Sneaks cost $35. See, he's a billionaire, and he don't dress flashy. Nigga, he's not black, that's why. Look at all the black billionaires. They dress like they got money. You can't compare, because these goddamn devils is walking around with plain t-shirts on and nothing. That don't mean nothing. That's just in their nature to dress like that. Look at a Negro that got 10 million. He's gonna have the best cars. He's going to have all his teeth going to get taken out and be permanently gold. He's going to have the biggest chains, the biggest fur coat. He's going to be known when he come through that he got money. So him showing off his money have nothing to do with just, oh, black people always want to get their money and spend. No, that's just in our nature to look flashy. You know how many people in the scriptures had gold teeth? Solomon had gold teeth. Brothers had gold teeth, nose rings, chains on, rings. That's in our culture to look like that. So when y'all see these devils and they got on Wrangler jeans and Hanes t-shirts, some Skechers, but his bank account is 27 billion, that don't mean nothing. You know, because a brother got 10 million and he got $100,000 car, you know, 2 million in jewelry, credit worth 7.8 million. That don't mean that. That's just in our nature to dress and look like that, man.
Right.
So we're going to get things and be flashy. You could just imagine them looking at us, just flourishing our business and just look like, who these niggas think they is? Look at all that gold in their mouth and on their fingers. They walking around. Gold in their ears and around their neck. Look at them niggas. You know, black people love to show off. They gonna show it off. They get some money, you gonna know. You gonna know. Look at them. So what they start doing? Started to get jealous, started to come through our neighborhoods and destroy it. To the point where the leaders started to stand up and say, okay, the only way to stop this is if we join with them. Joining with them is not gonna do nothing but us end up back working under them again. It ain't like we joining with them and being equal to them and being on the same level to them. We join with them and we still want to be under them. So out of fear, they just say, hey, it's better to join with them because that'll get them to stop destroying our communities. You let one white person come live in your community. Another one. Next thing you know, y'all all getting pushed out of it and it becomes theirs. You know what? There's too much killing going on around here. We need to do something. Up the police. They up the police. Police come through, kill you more. Why? Because we lived better when we were separate versus us deciding to come, join with them. And it's all throughout the scriptures. Get me, First Esdras chapter 9 verse 9.
Come. This is the book of First Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 9. And do his will.
Read verse 8.
Verse 8. And now, by confessing, give glory unto the Lord God of our Father.
Now, confessing, read 7.
Verse 7. So Esdras arose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives.
Esdras rose up and said, look, y'all broke the law by marrying strange wives, marrying heathen wives. Read.
Thereby to increase the sin of Israel. Verse 8. And now, by confessing, give glory unto the Lord God of our fathers. Verse 9. And do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land.
And do his will in what?
Separate yourselves from the heathen of the land.
Esdras is like, look, you broke the laws of the Most High by marrying strange women. You want to do the will of the Most High? Separate yourself from the heathens of the land. Go ahead. All right, it's a question. All right, they can hold on real quick until I'm finished this. All right, read that again.
And to do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land, and from the strange woman.
Separate yourself. Esdras is telling you, you want to do the Most High will? Separate yourself from the heathens of the land. That's what Esdras is telling you to do. And do not what strange women?
And from the strange woman.
Read after separate yourself from the heathens of the land.
And separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange woman.
Separate yourself from the heathen of the land. And read that one more time.
Separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange woman.
Now we're going to hold that. What's the question?
Come. So like the teacher Marie said, Shalom Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shema, L'Thabashim Yahushua. Salakia, sir, Deuteronomy 17 and 17, you better explain that to me. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 17. I'm going to start at verse 15 for context. Deuteronomy chapter, start at verse 16 for context. Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 16. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor be end that he should multiply horses. For as
read 15. Yeah, start at 15.
Thou shalt not in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren. Thou shalt set king over thee.
Now, the Most High said, he's going to set a king over you who's going to be from your brethren.
Right.
If he's not from your brethren, you shouldn't want him to be king over you. Read.
Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee.
Don't set a stranger over you, what the Most High is saying. So he's telling you, this king he's going to set over you is going to be your brother. He shouldn't be a stranger. He shouldn't be a heathen. Read.
Which is not thy brother.
Which is not your brother. How you know it's a heathen? Because it's a stranger who is not your brother. You got some strangers that are your brother, who come from a far off land or place. Then you got some strangers who is not your brother, because they heathens. Read.
Verse 16. But he shall not multiply horses to himself.
Now, the Most High is telling you, the king that he set over you, who is your brother, he's about to run down some things that he shouldn't do. Read.
But he should not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt.
This king shouldn't multiply horses unto himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt. Why shouldn't he multiply horses unto himself? Abahaya?
Because then there will be no horses left for the people, for the congregation of Israel.
Right. He's basically telling him, don't be greedy with the goddamn horses. What you was going to say, Yediah?
No, I was going to add to that and say, and also, you know, when you read this, it doesn't mean that he can only have one horse. Like today, it'd be like, so you mean to tell me a horse today will be a car. You mean to tell me I can't have more than one car. It's saying that you can't have all the cars, you can't have all the horses.
And it's telling you, just like you said, it's not saying he can't have more than one horse. It's telling him, don't multiply the horses, meaning don't make many horses just to have them for yourself. Don't be in there making all these goddamn horses and now you got a ranch full of 50 horses, but they all for you. Don't do that. Read.
For as much as the Lord has said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that he in his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply himself silver and gold.
Now, why should he multiply wives unto himself? What do that mean?
Now, when it says, you know, you can't multiply wives unto himself, meaning, you know, being the king, being the ruler, you can't marry all the women. You gotta let the other brothers have wives.
Right. Don't take all the God. First of all, you a king, so every goddamn sister gonna want you. Damn near every sister. Now, knowing that, don't be sitting there, every sister that walk by, you like, hey, yo, go get her. I want her to be my wife. Don't multiply wives unto yourself. Don't take every goddamn woman and make them your wife. Don't be greedy. That's what this scripture is talking about. Don't be greedy with horses. Don't be greedy with wives. That's why the Lord said don't be greedy with the horses, right? Don't be so greedy that you make the people want to go back to Egypt. Because you done took every goddamn thing. They got no horses. You got all the horses, so they gonna go back to Egypt. Don't be greedy. And don't be greedy with all the women. Every woman you look at, a brother look at, he can't even have her because it's yours. To the fact that brothers don't even got no wives because you got all of them. You being a king, being in a position of power like that, don't take all the horses, don't take all the women, and after women and say what?
Neither shall he greatly multiply himself silver and gold.
Now, is it a sin to wear 2 chains, 2 gold chains? Is it a sin to have 4 silver rings, 4 gold rings? No. Is it a sin for someone to have 2 horses? Is it a sin for someone to have 10 horses? No. So that's how you know the multiplying the wives unto you is not talking about a man can't have more than one wife. Because if you want to take the multiply the wives, then you got to understand that nobody can have multiple gold or silver on. If you want to own horses, you only can have 1 horse. If you want to own a chain, it gotta be one chain. 1 gold or silver chain. 1 gold or silver rings. Anything gold or silver you own, it have to be 1. You can't multiply it unto yourself because then it'll be a sin. So to answer your question, sis, verse 17 is basically telling him, don't be greedy. Neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, that his heart turn not away. Now, what about that part? He multiplied wives unto himself, that his heart turn not away. What does it mean that his heart turn not away? Neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, that his heart turn not away.
I would say, can I use Solomon for that example? While Solomon married many wives, but many of them being heathens, and it turned his heart away from the Most High.
It turned his heart away against the Most High. And also, too, it's turning his heart away because it's going to make him greedy. To where as though he's not going to think about nobody but himself. So he's going to multiply wives unto himself. Now he's turning his heart away against his brother. Like, damn, can we get some? Like, shit. Like, can you leave some women for us? We ain't got no women, and he ain't gonna give a damn. He's not gonna give a damn. He's gonna say, I don't care. I want all the women for myself. So what? And he's the king, so what the hell you gonna do? You're just gonna have to sit there and take it. So the Most High is saying, listen, I'm gonna put a king over you who's gonna be your brother. Now, this brother, when you become the king, this is what you should not do. And he's running it down. Go ahead.
The next one is in First Kings 11:1.
1 Kings 11:1. Let's get that. This is another question that she had.
Yeah, come on, 1 Kings 11:1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, the women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and Hittites.
Give me the precept in Nehemiah. You know which one?
Oh, she was asking, is that a precept for that?
Oh, yeah. And also,
Okay.
which would be a better one? Give me the one in Nehemiah. You know which one is that?
That's the one, Nehemiah 13,
I think that's it.
13 and 25.
Yeah, let's pull that.
Nehemiah, where he said, did not Solomon send by these things? Yeah, Nehemiah 13 and 20. Book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 26.
This is a better precept, sis. But go ahead.
This is the book of This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel.
The Most High made him, which was a brother, king over Israel. Read.
Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
His heart got turned away from him being a king, multiplying wives unto himself. Because not only what's going to happen when you get greedy and multiply wives unto yourself, when you run out of sisters, you're going to start going to them heathens. There's no goddamn sisters left to marry because you done married them all, being greedy. Now you're going to go to them heathens. And that's what Solomon did. Solomon married all types of women. And that was his downfall. He didn't follow what it was, and he didn't follow Deuteronomy 17. He didn't follow that. So that was his downfall. Is there any more on that? That was it? All right, so, hey, sis, let me know if that answered your question, or if you got any more questions. I mean, until she type in and answer that, let's move on from the Apocrypha, from where we was at. First Ezra 9.
This is the book of First Ezra. This is the book of First Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 9. And do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land, and from the strange woman.
The Most High is telling you, look, Ezra is telling you, if you want to do the will of the Most High, separate yourself from the heathens of the land. That's what Ezra is telling you to do. Read on. Is there any more on that?
That's the end of this, sir.
Get me Ecclesiasticus 6 and 13.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, and verse 13. Separate thyself from thy enemies, and take heed of thy friends.
Separate thyself from thy enemy, and take heed of thy friends. What that mean?
But it says, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. And I use, separate yourself from that Black Lives Matter, LGBTQP bring yourself into the Israelite school of UPK. When you separate from your enemies, you're gonna understand who your friends are. And can I use what Christ said that ye are my friends?
Yup. And that's perfect talking to who? His brothers.
Right.
Separate yourself from all these Black Lives Matter movements, all these, false advertisement. We love black people, stuff that they pushing out there. Separate yourself from, the so-called oppressors who come approach you like, hey, I want to stand with you guys, and I'm against police brutality against black people, and I think that the police that murdered Breonna, what's her name, Breonna Taylor, should go to jail. And nah, I don't give a damn what you think. You still can't stand with me.
Right.
Still can't come in here. I'm still not holding hands with you. I'm not going to have you in the crowd, in my entourage, or in the crowd with me, that when I go to speak at certain events, you're not going to be in the crowd. No. I don't give a damn what you believe. But Christ said what?
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends.
Take heed of thy friends. Take heed of the people who's your friend, which is who? People in the truth.
Right.
The people that's in the truth, take heed of them. Take heed of them. That's what Christ telling you to do. Christ telling you to take heed of them. Why? Because a friend is not going to be feeding you false information with the intentions of hurting you. That's where a lot of these organizations go wrong at. They start an organization and then they let white people in. Mm-hmm. Why? They want to bring some type of balance. They want to show some type of unification, show that blacks and whites can stand together. And then guess what? He brings in all type of drugs and everything, get you hooked onto it. Then they come in and shut it down, everybody go to jail.
Right.
So many organizations started off like that. So many organizations. That happens all the time. Joining with them, we lost everything that we had. Now, we can't even give birth, and feel like our child is safe. You got to worry about every time the doctor walk in and out the room to tell you about how the baby doing. You goddamn sweating and panicking because it's a good chance that doctor might say, hey, something went wrong and the baby didn't make it. But if we had our own hospitals, if we separate and come together, we won't have to worry about that. We won't have to worry about sending our children to daycare and worrying about if something happening. We won't have to worry about, sending your 15-year-old son to the goddamn store and scared that he might not make it back. Cop might stop him for some reason. Man, I was up Sharon Hill today, right? I was up Sharon Hill. I was going into this Wawa. As I'm going into this Wawa, this Edomite is in the parking lot. Shirt tucked in. He got a gun on him. And the gun is on the outside. It's an outside holster. It's on the outside of his pants. And he's in the parking lot talking to another Edomite. And I sat there and I said to myself, was like, okay, I've been to this Wawa a million times. They don't have security, let alone armed security. He don't look like a cop. It's clear he's not a cop. Why in the hell is he walking around like that? Just with his gun showing, open carry. Like, why? Like, what is the point of that? And then I started to think, I'm willing to bet he did that when he seen me walking. When he seen me walking about to go into this goddamn store, he tucked his goddamn shirt in. Because I'm in a neighborhood where he's looking like, what are you doing around here? Why are you up here? So I just look like I'm walking in the goddamn Wawa to rob the goddamn place. And I'm sitting there like, he's in the parking lot looking foolish right now. why are you showing your gun right now? Now you giving the person that want to do something the upper hand. Because you're the first person to go if somebody wanted to do something. Like, but that's just in their nature. They gotta show off, like, hey, yeah, look, I will kill you. And then it's just like, you in the parking lot of a Wawa, for God's sakes. In Sharon Hill. I'm pretty sure 3 people die every 10 years in Sharon Hill. I'm like, you just out there like that. It's just like, oh man, like that's a person he's thirsty for blood. Why should we want to be around that? Like, why should we want to be around that? It's bad enough that we don't own none of the stores in our neighborhood. No matter where you go, the customer service is trash because it's a heathen getting smart with you. It's a heathen getting smart with you and just talking to you all types of ways. You got to deal with that. Then you got to deal with these bills. You calling trying to get extensions, trying to get help. And they not trying to hear you. They don't give a damn. No compassion on you. You think back then when we had our own businesses, it wasn't people making their bills on time and was struggling a little bit, falling short? You know what they was doing? When we owned them electric companies? Oh, no problem, man. Nah, we're going to give you a little grace period. We're going to give you a little grace period. Man, we got you. Man, I know somebody who had to sleep with a machine, right? It was a machine. It was like it was a breathing machine. They need to sleep with this because this is how, it's a good chance that they don't sleep with this that they're going to die. Wasn't able to work, was dealing with some illnesses, and called the electric company to try to get some type of extension to where as though they can keep it on. Keep the electric on because they like, look, I gotta sleep with this machine. You know, if I don't sleep with this machine, it's putting my health at risk. But I don't have the money right now. And if y'all give me time to get the money, I'll pay y'all. I don't have it now and I can't afford for my electricity to get cut off. And they was like, you know, the electric company wasn't trying to hear them. Didn't give a damn. All they cared about is make a payment now and you just gonna have to die. That's exactly how they was presenting it to him. You got to make a payment now. I don't know what to tell you, bud. Like, what you want me to do? It ain't my fault you ain't got the money. That's what happened when we willing to give up everything that we built and everything that we own because it's better to go join with these oppressors. Give me the scripture, everyone join hand in hand.
Another question, sir.
Okay.
Salaki, same sister asks, Salaki, sir, I have a couple of precepts for a man that has multiple wives that he must take care of them.
He must take care of them. Now, when you say take care of them, sis, be specific. Meaning take care of them like how? Like, just, what do you mean by he must take care of them?
Isaiah 41. I'm going to hold Matthew 25.
Mm-hmm. And get Proverbs 31. Just hold that chapter for me.
She said responsible or equally, I guess, should I should say.
Okay.
He should be responsible or equally, I guess, I should say.
Now, should he be responsible for all his wives? Yes. Do he have to treat all his wives equally? Who want to answer that? Yediah? He don't have to treat all his wives equally, sis. Do he got to be responsible for all his wives? Yes. Do he got to treat them equally? No. Just because he do this with that wife, or let's say you mean he got 3 wives. He got to pay all their rent and all their utility bills. Don't have to do that. If that's what you mean. If that's not what you mean, sis, just type in and just let me know what you mean. But based off what you said, responsible or treat them equally, he don't have to treat them equally, sis. You know.
Okay, Exodus 21, 10.
What that say?
If you take another wife, her food and raiment, her duty and marriage.
Read that, Exodus 21 and 10.
Come on, let's do it. Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
Meaning what? If a man get another wife, right? The first wife, her food, and her what?
Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
So everything he was doing for his first wife, or everything he was doing for this wife before he got another wife, he shouldn't stop doing that.
Right.
So if he was paying your bills, if he was, you know, giving you this amount of sex, if he was taking you out this amount of times, if he was so affectionate in a certain way to you, that none of that should stop because he got another wife.
Right.
Unless something happened where as though y'all have a conversation and you agree and understand where he's coming from, then that's different. But everything he was doing for you before he got that other woman, he cannot stop doing. So what does that mean? Let's say if he was paying your utility bill, sis. Let's say he was paying your water bill for 5 years and was paying your rent. Your rent and your water bill. When he get another wife, he shouldn't stop paying your rent or water bill because he got another wife. But does that mean when he get another wife and that new wife, he's paying her rent, electricity, water bill, heat bill? When you find out he's paying all that, that does not mean now he got to pay your rent, water, you know, electricity and heat. As long as he's doing what he's been doing, he's fine. But if he's paying more for her, that don't mean he got to even it out with you. As long as he don't stop doing what he was doing with you, then that's just all. You know? Is there anything else on there? That
No,
you
that was
said?
it.
What scripture was you holding?
So God. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread.
Listen, 7 women going to take hold unto one man saying, we will eat our own bread. Meaning what? You ain't got to buy us nothing. You ain't got to buy us no food. We're going to eat our own food. We're going to make our own food. Read.
Our God. And wear our own apparel.
We're going to wear our own apparel. You ain't got to buy us no clothes. We're going to buy our own. Read.
Only let us be called by thy name.
Just let us be your wife. Just let us be your wife. That don't say nothing about, you know, that don't say nothing about these 7 women saying, hey, you got to buy us all the same clothes and same food and feed us all. They like, look, we're going to do all of that ourselves. Just let us be your wife. And that happened most of the time in the truth. You will get a sister that'll be like, you got another wife? I don't care. I don't care. Oh, you tight on funds? That's okay. I can buy my own stuff. I just want you. Sisters will come straight up. Sisters will shoot they shot right at you. I don't care. Listen, you said what? You can't get me because you ain't making enough money.
Did I ask you that?
Right, did I ask you that? I don't care how much money you making. Listen, I just want to be called by your name. I just want everybody to know I'm yours, and because of that, I don't care if you ain't making enough money to buy me clothes. I buy my own. I buy my own food. Just let me have you. It's sisters like that. It's 7 sisters that's going to be like that
Right.
in that day. 7 sisters are all going to come to you and say that. Ain't no sister going to be worried about, oh, you buying her food, buy me food. Them sisters going to approach you like, nah, I buy my own. I just want you. And it happens today. Is it another one you holding?
I'll go with Matthew 25:1.
Matthew 25. Let me see. She said, yes, that's what my mom say, sir. That's what your mom, listen, them mamas here, they gonna say a lot. They gonna be against that multiple wife thing. They definitely gonna be against that multiple wives. As if your dad had one woman. Let's go. Let's move on. Matthew 25.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which take their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Christ is giving a metaphor of the kingdom of heaven, and he's comparing it to 10 virgins who was about to marry one man. Now, why would Christ use an unlawful scenario to speak about the kingdom of heaven? Because, 10 women wanting one man is not unlawful. So Christ used something that the people will understand and put it in the way to help them understand the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
So, he's just giving a metaphor. He's giving a scenario. How can I get these people to understand what I'm about to say? Okay. I'm going to give them a scenario about 10 women wanting to marry, 10 young women wanting to marry one man. They going to understand it when I give it to them when I put it to them that way. Read.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
Now, these 10 women, 5 of them was wise, 5 of them was foolish. Now, we ain't got to read the whole story because the whole point was it was 10 women that wanted one man. 5 of them was smart, 5 of them wasn't. All these women was, in competition, or 5 of them and 5 was in competition to get this man. To get this one man. And they was going to get him by any means. To let you know what. It's not wrong for a man to have multiple women. The thing is too, sis, right? One thing what we got to understand is this same scripture, right? This is what I notice people do. I'm going to end it off with this. This same scripture, an older woman asked me this question because I was talking to my cousin. He was trying to explain multiple wives to his rib. The rib went back to her mother. The mother went on Google and typed in God against multiple wives in the Bible. When you type that in on Google, this scripture comes up. This is one of the scriptures that comes up, Deuteronomy 17. And it's just that verse. So people read that verse and then they come to you like, I got it. But not understanding what it's talking about. They have no context of the chapter. All they read is, shall not multiply wives to themselves. They information they get is just straight up Google. They just type in God against multiple wives in the Bible. Deuteronomy 17 will come up. And they're going to read that in their Bible and then come to you like they got a scripture to show you your man shouldn't have another woman. Your man shouldn't have another woman. When it's just jealousy because she see you are stronger than she ever was. Listen, a lot of these sisters' mothers know if they was as half as strong as you was, your father would have still been around. Your father would have still been around. But for you to come and present that your husband got another wife, are you crazy? That's the same reason why I packed my stuff up and left your father. He was out there messing with all them women. But to see you stand on it and you like, Mom, it's not wrong. Now she got to go into the Bible and find out where it's wrong. No, I can't have my daughter do it. Why? Do she really care if your husband got another wife? Hell no, she don't care. That's you dealing with it. She don't give a damn if your husband got 10 wives. What she do care is that it do kills her inside that you're way stronger than what she could have ever been. All them years she done dealt with your father while he was dealing with other women, till she decided to get mad because she wasn't, put first. Because she wasn't put first before all them women, now she's leaving your father. Oh, I was tired of him cheating and coming in late. Nah, you was tired of not feeling like you was first. So you decided to leave. That's why you left, her goddamn father, because you wasn't put first. If he would have made you feel like you was the number one chick and all them other girls was hoes, you would have still been with him. But because he wasn't, he was treating y'all all the same, you had to leave him. And to see your daughter, what? You cool with him having another wife? Oh, nah, I can't have that. Nope. I gotta try to destroy it, break it down as much as possible. And that's what they do. They just can't, face the fact that you stronger than what they ever was. Where your husband at? I think he with his other wife or something. What? To just say that is like, how you dare say that? It's like, what? He with his other wife. I mean, the Bible say you can have another. Now you just created a whole beef with your mom. And that's where most of it comes from. Let me get a time check.
Yes, sir, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay, Most High in Christ. And with that, we're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Yadai.
Down y'all with a strong hand.
That being said, we actually came. We saw the 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, it's like he or she must give permission to speak to a brother or sister. After that month's period, the brother and sister will give permission from the head, will get permission to court each other, and after that 1 period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe is a commandment. You can read about that in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Aishua, it means 10th in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department. Priest fund, free will for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. Of course, we're going to have the Passover, waiting on confirmation. Keep up with Commander General Yohana on Black Watch and the weekly videos that he drops. Also, we had the memorial, the blowing of the trumpets, the first day of the 7th month, Thursday, September 17th, 2020. And you can read about that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Remind all Akim and not go out and check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, headband, and scarf. But with that, I imagine which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat. Admire, Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shabbarak Thug. Yahshua Sar, turn and face the sisters. Sisters Admire, sisters. Your Ahmad Shabbat will be your feet at a 45-degree angle with your right hand over your left and your head bowed and covered. Men of Israel, we're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat. Admire, Barak. Yahweh Shamar, Allah Thug, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shab. Yahshua class dismissed.